The Bill Tarmey I knew beyond Jack Duckworth. The first occasion I met Bill was actually in a jazz context. He lived in Ashton, outside of Manchester. Nearby was a rather nice pub, no more than 200 or 300 yards from where he lived. And there was a regular jazz session there, basically with a resident trio, and they would have various guests, better names on the Manchester jazz scene. Bill, I think I can say without being contradicted, his first love was singing. Of course, he started his career singing on the northern clubs some time before he came on Coronation Street and became very well known for being a member of the cast of Coronation Street and Jack Duckworth. So he would wander down from his house. In fact, I was told, though I have no evidence of this, that in fact he used to drive his car the several hundred yards from his house to the pub. Anyway, it's within this context that I met him, and he was very friendly, nice guy, and we had a little bit of a chat and a beer, and it was a kind of a brief acquaintance, as it were. It moved on onto a more professional level sometimes after that. A very old friend of mine was Derek Wadsworth, trombone player, arranger, made music for films, all kinds of stuff like that. That's a story for some other time. But Derek had started to collaborate with Bill Tarmey to record albums of songs, which became really very well liked and had good sales. I think, in fact, even got a platinum disc for one particular one. Derek did all the arranging and conducting and production, so they had a close collaboration. I'd recently, this is really in the very early days of the internet, and I'd started out developing websites. We're talking, well, certainly before the turn of 2000, that's for sure. I developed Derek's website and actually launched his presence on the internet. In those days, it was all rather different. I mean, the streaming we're used to now, video and that kind of stuff, YouTube, and it was far, far in the future, So you really had to make some real effort to make a presence and give people interest in the content of a website. Anyway, Bill was also very interested in having a website, and I met him again through Derek, and we had lunch with his wife, and I actually created his first web presence and launched his first website. So on a professional level, we had a closer relationship, as it were. But also, in addition to that, I used to pop into this session at the pub down the road if I was in the area of Manchester. So I would see him on and off, and he was always seemed to be happy to see me. I was certainly happy to see him. I'd play behind him sometimes when he was doing songs, etc. He wouldn't dominate the evening. I mean, he would sing a few songs, and whoever was the guest artist would do the rest. He's a kind of modest man in some ways. I mean, very approachable, no edge whatsoever. A really, really, really nice man. Really nice man. I mean, as you probably already know, he'd had health issues over the period of his life, which is not the appropriate to talk about that here. But in spite of that, he was always very ebullient and a lover of life. He didn't make much, he didn't change his lifestyle particularly in view of his medical problems. I mean, he continued to smoke and drink and eat his favourite foods, which might have not been the healthiest, but there we are. I'm not 100% sure, but I think, in fact, he was a man with a very strong religious faith, and maybe this was a solid foundation on the way he built his life. In addition to that, he had a very strong and very, very supportive wife, Ali. I mean, really supportive lady, who I'm sure he absolutely adored. And she really made his career possible with her support and encouragement. So, he was I don't know whether he was a very different man from his character on Coronation Street. There was certainly, I wasn't an avid watcher of Coronation Street, but but obviously there was personality traits which in fact came out in the character, which in fact were true in reality. So it was a very fruitful relationship which went over a number of years. Sadly, in fact, the last time I was due to meet him, in fact, we missed each other because I'd picked up some albums from Derrick's house down in Oxfordshire, which was the last album they'd made, which was kind of an independent production. And I was taking a whole load of albums to drop off at his house. Unfortunately, traffic and etc., etc., he'd had to go on elsewhere. I mean, he was still quite a busy guy, and I missed him. So I was sad about that. And of course, as we know, he passed on in Tenerife. I can't remember whether it was much. No, it was a significant period actually after that. What should have been our last meeting, but he certainly enriched my life. I mean, it's one of the things which I love actually, is the way people enrich your life and give you a view on a whole new world, and actually broaden your appreciation and experience. Certainly Derrick and he were very, very, very close indeed, and their collaboration musically and on a level of friendship, in fact, was profound. So that's my experience of knowing and working and making music with Bill Tarmey. Just to add a footnote, the interesting thing is, vis-a-vis Jack Duckworth, one of the things that emerged, as it were, from the website once it was online, there were actually reenactment groups, as far as I remember, in Canada and Australia. I don't know, kind of role-playing, really. These people, I don't exactly know how they constituted the society or the group they did, but they would kind of reenact the Rover's return, and people would play characters like Jack Duckworth and the various people who were in Coronation Street. The one in Canada was very used to send frequent kind of photographs of them, their reenactments. The lady who did this in Australia at one point actually turned up in person for the jazz gig in Manchester, but that was rather curious. I presume that these faded away. It's no longer done, but it's a rather kind of interesting aspect of the international acclaim that Coronation Street made on certain people who felt they could put together a meaningful group who would role play what was happening in Coronation Street. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please subscribe.